Good morning, and we are good. Camera A. We are not good on camera B. Let me fix that. As we fix the camera B, good morning everybody. This is the Poetry Studio. My name is Joseph. I do typewritten poetry in the mornings here on Twitch. We have Fool Killer here in the house. We have music still loud. There we go. A little better, like that. We have Meaning Wave instrumentals playing in the background. We have a typewriter ready to punch out poetry. And it is a beautiful, wonderful morning. So, after a Sunday and a weekend of reflection, some slight changes are coming to the Poetry Studio, for those that know. For those that know the Poetry Studio. I have been doing readings of poems every morning for the past probably 3 or 4 weeks. It's been a combination of older poets and newer poets. Love celebrating people's work, love just getting energized about other poems. And I will still continue to read poems only if they have been requested. And we will set up something with the channel points to request poetry readings soon. So that actually would be a really good thing to prioritize today. Part of the reason is because it takes a lot of time for me to prep those readings. And I can use the channel points for reading of poetry. And so I spend a lot of time off the stream during the week planning out those readings. Contacting other poets, seeing whether they'd be interested in having me read stuff, things like that. The result of that is that there's a lot of time that I spend that I am not, the business isn't making money, and I'm doing this wonderful thing for Twitch, and I love doing it for free and airing for free. I don't hide this behind any paywall, and you guys are awesome for just showing up. It's a gratitude for showing up. As there's more subscribers here on the channel, as the channel grows, I will continue to add little things into the stream because, again, it's just a little bit of my time that I need to get back to be able to possibly put towards a commission or another paid project or some of my other part-time jobs that help keep this home paid. So anyway, I want to thank everybody, though, for having supported the channel regardless, by just being here. It's by no means is this something where anybody absolutely needs to subscribe. It's just, or to throw bits. It's just one of those things where there is, I just have to scale what I'm doing based off of how much this is actually bringing in. So there'll still be poetry on the spot. There will still be poetry requests that could be made. I'm still kind of balancing out what will be what will be, hey, if you give me some bits, I'll write a poem, or if you use channel points, I'll write a poem, things like that. If you have any ideas or input and you happen to be watching now and happen to have the ability to chat, I know we have a lot of workers and lurkers in the morning here, feel free to drop something in there and let me know what you think. Let me know if you think that some of these changes are good, some of these changes aren't good. I am always open to making sure that the community that watches this gets what they want out of it. So unfortunately, there will not be a poetry reading this morning, but poetry readings will be available soon for requests. And the channel is going to be going through just some little bits of changes to simplify, make it a little more fun, but also make it something where we are going to be having subscriber goals and follower goals to try and get expand the reach and just make it something where poetry, has that capability to change more lives and help inspire more people in the early morning hours. So if you are watching this on the replay, I want to thank you again also for checking in there. And I'm sorry I'm not coming at you with a new reading, but sometimes these changes and switches just need to be made to be able to make things flow a little better on my end. So for this morning's poetry, and it might be something set up that if that's something that everybody's a real fan of on the channel, or if it seems like that's a real hit with people, I will set something up where maybe I just read a random poem a morning, have it generated randomly, because that would just be a lot easier. And then we can take it from there. And I'm sure it's not hard to set up randomly generated links or have a place where people can submit for poems to be read. All brings up the need of a Discord. Many things on top of things that I have to figure out and set up and explore. So today, my main commission that I've got going today is I'm just retyping a poem that we worked on last week. It was a poem, A Holly Jolly Birthday, which was a tongue-in-cheek exploration of a birthday too close to Christmas. It was a great poem. It was a great poem, and there was one major mistake with it, though. I thought that the person that was going to be receiving the poem was the commissioner's sister. It's in fact her friend. So, very basic alteration. We're just going to be retyping that. Yes, so Fool Killer did start experimenting with his censored poem idea, which is kind of a reverse blackout poetry idea, which I should talk about blackout poetry at a certain point in the channel. What he did is he created 3 lines, a very short, small poem, where you can imagine that if it were written on an old sheet of paper, there would be big black bars, and it would basically mean that there were words that were censored in the middle. Blackout poetry is kind of a little different. It's purposefully taking a body of text where you can see all the words and eliminating different things. But what Fool Killer was doing was trying to do kind of a faux, like a pretend redaction. And the poem would read like this. I actually have it up on my phone right now, Fool Killer. So let me bring it out. And it's very simple. This is the redacted truth. The truth is there is nothing out there. The truth is there is nothing out there. And that reflection, that I don't remember the name of the word for the construction, but that reversal between the truth is there is nothing out there is actually a well-known type of construction to go to reverse the first part of a sentence and kind of repeat it reversed in the second part. Feels very reflexive. The truth is there is nothing out there. Thank you again, Fool Killer, for sending that in. So I will read poetry that people send in. I like it. Alrighty. And good morning, Disco. Good to see you on the stream. Let's get started with my retype here for Holly Jolly Birthday. 6, 12, 12. I think I'm going to retype that. I can fix a typo in the title because that's really early at the start. Are you streaming this morning, Disco? Maybe. Yeah, and I would love to put the time that I've been, collecting and getting together poems into some things that are more concretely useful for the channel, such as actually setting up those emojis. 3 p.m. UK is... Oh goodness, my math isn't working. Is that like 11? In 2.5 hours. So 8, 9, 10. So I'll be able to check you out starting at 11 because I'm trying something new today. So, I sometimes lose track of what I'm working on and get distracted pretty easily. And randomly on the internet one day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I found something called FocusMate. And it's because I was looking for productivity accountability partners. And this is not an productivity accountability partner service, but what it is it's more, it is very, it's like kind of just making sure that there's someone present. Like it's almost like a remote version of WeWork, which I think is really interesting. Like a remote workspace type of environment. So what you do is you just set an hour block and then you go and video chat with a completely random stranger who's also just focused on being productive. And the two of you just do your work in the same video space, the remote virtual space. It's an intriguing idea. I mean, I've gotten a lot more comfortable with being on video and video cam and live stream and chat ever since the pandemic started. I mean, I just get up here in the morning. Sometimes I'm not even showered. Sometimes I'm wearing shorts. Like not today though. Today I'm actually wearing pants. So it's an interesting idea and I'm interested to see how it goes. Easiest thing about retyping poems is because of the monospace feature of the typewriter. You can just literally space it out exactly where it was before. And the content on this was already approved by the commissioner. Oh my goodness. Does this mean we should look forward to Naked Tuesday? Goodness gracious. I don't know. I have, believe it or not, I have several years worth of April Fool's ideas stacked up in memory. And so don't you worry, on April Fool's, this whole stream, everything that I'm going to be doing poetry-wise is going to be just total shenanigans. I would not say Naked Tuesdays, though. That might break some of the terms and conditions of the website. And the other website, too, they're, like, really strict on the fact that, like, all you do is just get on there and work. But I'm not really sure how one enforces that. Like, I don't know if it's going to be a mess or not when I get on there. So FocusMate, we'll see. I will report back. think that should still work. Almost ran the type off the page. So what's funny is, Fool Killer, you have a book of poems, and it's like it sounds like you're just chipping away a poem a day, and that sounds like something that I might even do to kind of make up for the reading, because then I don't have to plan for what I'm reading. I just read it, and then it works. But as you said before, some of the poems are very long and some of them are short. I'll take a look out on the internet. I don't want to end the readings, but I definitely can't organize them anymore. Fool Killer says you could always do the flip to a random page trick and read that way. That's actually how I read the Bible, believe it or not. One of the more interesting things I do is I'll go to a Bible and I'll open it to a random section, and it always works. I always found. I learned that from a more eclectic clergyman. But yeah, it's not a bad idea as well. I have a massive collection of Wordsworth. Let's actually try that. After I finish this poem. So I have an edit that I wrote down here, but I'm trying to think of a better word. So There were 2 campfires. I went to 2 different spots this past Saturday, and they both had campfires. I bussed in both places. So the typewriter, the paper, the folder all smell like campfire. So nice. Man, really trimmed it on the end there. So Fool Killer has a good question, which I will answer right after I read this poem. Holly Jolly Birthday, round 2. It's the most convenient time of the year where Black Friday sales can count for both a birthday and the birth of a savior. Saving up those pennies to double up smartly and wrap 2 gifts in one. And a friend understandably outshone by the literal arrival of God. Magic men prancing on rooftops where, it seems, it is everyone's special day. The passing year lost on the tinsel and cheer. But on the anniversary of your arrival, everything shines in stars, smiles burst from children and companions, the radio sings, the choir sings, everything sings for the hope of the world, for the hope in your world that, though the wrapping paper may be less, the sincerity, the festivity, the whole glory be is upon us. So who says it isn't all for you? Holly Jolly Birthday. So, Fool Killer asks, I've been trying to think of solutions to the analysis paralysis in my art, as the prospect of the freedom creating anything I want is kind of overwhelming at first, if you think about it. How do you deal with it if you experience it? So, what I'll start with is that a lot of the people I write for experience it. And what I mean by that is the worst part, the only thing I haven't been able to really hack in my street poetry process. I have the performance down, I can read very well, I know how to handle typing, I know how to handle conversation. All those things when I'm out on the street busking for poems are great, except there's one thing, and that is the moment when someone says, yes, I want a poem, and I say, what do you want a poem about? And they freeze. They always freeze. Now, what I did for a while is I had a list of questions. There was a little sheet of paper I'd hand to them. It was kind of corny, and I think it might have scared some people away, so I stopped handing it to them. But if it really is analysis paralysis, the only reason why I'm able to do so much of what I do is because I'm getting prompts, and prompts for writing and prompts for creating are always a good place to start. I'm not going to say necessarily best place. A lot of people can write what they feel. So, I have written some pretty weird stuff and then had it turn into something actually really nice because it was just like, this is what I'm feeling at the moment. So I'll just repeat some things that I've heard over time. One of the biggest is that, if what you see in the world is truth, like what you understand is true. So writing that truth is a start. Now you might think, for me it's like, I'm just some random guy in the middle of Winchester and, doing my thing and it's raining outside. But, that's a story, and then it grows from there. And there are very interesting parts of our lives that we can paint, that we can work on. But if that doesn't work, if the internal prompts don't come, then I would start with the external and have somebody recommend to write something. For example, I challenged you to write the redacted poem. You got those 3 lines down to me in a jiffy and got them out. That's a start. And so I could incorporate prompts on the stream, not necessarily just for your sake, but another thing idea-wise, that if it isn't too hard, I always want to be a forester in creativity. Today's prompt would be Naked Tuesdays. Steve Disco's comment about Naked Tuesdays would be today's prompt. Write, draw. I don't know about drawing, but write about Naked Tuesdays. And so I think that getting a start, Disco is extremely excited by the concept. Compose on Naked Tuesdays, or if you were to mix, like, I don't know, like if you were to mix a disco beat or disco set of songs, like a small set of songs, a sequence that would reminisce of Disco Tuesdays. Naked Tuesdays. There we go, a ditty about Naked Tuesdays. I think this is a request. Oh goodness, I've stumbled into a request about Naked Tuesdays. Goodness gracious, I think we're doing this. We'll do this. We'll definitely do this. Naked Tuesdays. Naked Disco Tuesdays. So you see, like, now I've got a paper in the typewriter. I'm going to be writing about Naked Tuesdays. So, pick something out that I guess there's 4 different things you could do. You could get your prompts externally. Ask somebody to tell you what you should write, and then write it. That teaches you to play on demand. That teaches you the spontaneity of having to respond to anything in the moment. It's like when the shortstop gets a line drive hit to him and he has to reach out and catch it. There's your internal truth. So that's number 2, is what is inside of you? What are you feeling right now? Where is your life gone? When you think of a memory, what memory do you think of? Where is your head and your heart? The feeling. I have written some pretty powerful stuff about writer's block and the inability to choose. Analysis paralysis is actually a fantastic topic because it is amazing. You have everything at your fingertips. You could look up the entire Encyclopedia Plus is on here, and you can go crazy with that. Third thing would probably be a synthesis. So picking out things in the world that are unique, picking out things that don't make sense. A typewriter in the 21st century, Naked Tuesdays, those types of things, pulling the interesting stuff and then stopping and then focusing in on that. And then I thought of a 4th thing and I can't remember. But, there's also writing what you love. And I think that would probably be a good 4th thing. So, what do you really enjoy? And I always use writing, but it could be drawing, Like Phased is a fantastic example of doing, creating based off of what you love. Phased says that he travels around the internet or just wanders around, and then when he finds something he wants to create, he creates it. And he's gone weeks without putting something up at points because he doesn't find anything that he's interested in that's new, or he's focusing on a project and he hasn't, he's not. I'm more prolific because I'm always taking requests. But there's some artists that hate commissions. They will not do any commissions. You have the DJ that will take song requests, the DJ that won't, So there's all different types, but I think it boils down to those 4. It's writing what your truth is, what you feel, writing based off request, writing what you love, and writing what's interesting. And it could always be a combination of those. That is an extremely in-depth answer. And to demonstrate the interesting side, yes, Disco. That's all great advice. I have the block with both sides of my life. Can I have a tune? Yes. Well, what do you want? They go blank. Then in design life, people ask me to do a flyer, but they don't have any ideas to jump the design off of. One of the things that's helped me a lot on the street is, so like I took that big list of questions and I simplified it into one. The one that I felt would best get people talking in a direction I could understand. So what I like to ask people when they want a poem but they don't know what they want is I'll ask them what's bringing them the most excitement in their life at that moment. What is giving you energy? What's giving you joy? What's driving you? And that will usually stimulate some sort of conversation. Open-ended questions in general are always helpful. And I mean, I'm sure you have your list of questions that you do when you have nobody says anything. Disco is determined to get this Naked Tuesdays poem. I like this. There you go. You know, Disco. I was a salesman for many years, so I know all about open and closed questions. Yep. All right, so I've gotten the start, which this is a more story poem here, and I don't usually write story poems, so this is a little harder for me. There we go. I thought the music had disappeared for a second. Ah! Oh, wrong button. Well, I want to thank you all for being here in the stream this morning. Disco for having suggested a wonderfully funny poem. Fool Killer as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Naked Tuesdays. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that! Fool Killer is limericking in the chat. I'll read his out first, and then I will read my story poem, which is, I think Fool Killer's is better than mine. Naked Tuesdays, the most sacred of todays, with the truth laid bare without putting on underwear. In tune with the body and its ways, all on Naked Tuesday. I love that. That's so funny. That's good. There we go. You see, and that's one of the fun things about being with other poets and other writers and creators is you can kind of like rip off each other and then sprint and compare. Naked Tuesdays. Bob never got the memo. Suit and tie, straight and fine, walked into the office to find that the rest were bare. From marketing to human resources, leaving behind that one tool we all assume is in view. Clothes scattered about cubicles, the calamity of naked ambition across the company. Karen from development made him develop a blush. This rush of body parts to complicate the scheduled date he neglected to mention to the aged CEO, sagging in his chair while there in discussion with the secretary. Bob rushed in while the CEO grinned. "Too cold for you, son?" he asked. But Bob was aghast, for he had failed to mention that star clients were arriving for a 10 a.m. pitch and would be met without a stitch. Without a stitch. Indeed, Naked Tuesdays at the office. I don't know why I thought about an office, like, party with that. I don't know. Because I guess, like, it was like Naked Tuesdays. But I hope that you all enjoyed it. That one actually made me laugh. That's really good. Thank you again, everybody, for being here. We have a crew of 3, but it's after 8. Let's just end the stream on the end screen. Thank you again so much. So glad to write for you. Thank you, Disco, for the request. Without a donut, the best story about Naked Tuesdays ever. Man, thank you so much. I feel like that this could be really turned... I feel like I want to work this into something. You know something, Disco. This may actually become a thing because this is unique. I don't know if story poetry has an option. I don't know if humor poetry has an option somewhere for publishing, but I've been setting aside some poems that I know I'm going to rework. Disco said, I feel it needs an illustration. I'm thinking like that New Yorker artist. I could pitch the idea to him. You know, he does a lot of stuff. Unless, you know, do you do illustrating, Disco? I know you do design, and I know you do emojis. But if you wanted to tackle it, we could do a combo publish on it. But either way, this is not the last time that this stream will see Naked Tuesdays. It will return. We do not know when. Spoil. He does the layouts. I struggle to draw. That's fine. I will find somebody, an artist possibly, to make this into a visual design. The Naked Tuesday series of poems. Goodness, we just totally blow it out and it becomes a big thing. Wow, this is funny. Oh, I got a good laugh out of this. Alrighty. Thank you again so much for being here. I'm going to go get after it. I've got a lot of non-writing email-esque projects to do. You all have a wonderful day.